Good morning, grade 8s. Thank you for all your hard work with regards to the market section where you chose a part that you wanted to present or to summarize or to prepare a lesson. Ms. Kruger and myself were very, very impressed with what you put on the table, and I can see, we could see that you've put in a lot of effort and time into this. So we would like to thank you for that. Right, let's quickly just run through the main sections of this chapter. I know that you've already spent a lot of time on this, so we're just quickly going to run through a few pointers here. If we look at the market chapter, we're going to first identify the goods and services market. Now, what is that? A goods and services market is a place where products, it can be different kind of things like vegetables, vehicles, furniture, clothing, anything that you can touch, an item, or services, which we can't touch, but we can see it and experience it. For example, gardening, telephone services, banking services, etc. are sold. Now, when we think of market, we tend to think that it must be a physical place. We need to see it, but it can actually be virtual as well. So because lots of things nowadays happen online, your goods and services market in many cases might not be a physical place like a shop or a store. It can be, and we all know that there's retail stores and malls and places that you can go to, but lots of things nowadays are offered online or in the virtual market. So we just need to be aware of it, that it does not necessarily need to be a physical place where people meet to buy and sell. Can be virtual as well. And once again, in the time that we're living now and that we're experiencing now, more and more people try to be part of the goods and services market, but not necessarily physical. So people do not have to go out of their homes to buy a specific product. Just last week, with the different levels of lockdown, they now said that all e-retailing can take place, and that's typically a virtual market where I can buy or order a specific product or even some services online, and then it gets delivered to me. The physical product can be delivered, or the service can also be delivered online. A little bit off the topic, but I've just heard of so many people coming up with brilliant ideas of still delivering a service while in this difficult period of time. I mean, we're trying to teach, we're delivering a service and we're not physically meeting with our customers at the moment, and we're doing it online. But people are offering singing lessons online. That's a service. They're doing makeup lessons online to teach people online. So they're not even physically meeting their customers. So out of all this terrible situation that we're in now, people are even coming up with brilliant ideas, and that's a true sign of entrepreneurship. Hey, right, let's move on then to the different types of goods and services markets. Lots of you chose that as part of your presentation. We need to know that we have wholesale markets. Now, what is a wholesale market? That is where large quantities of a specific product is bought or sold, and that's typically where retailers will go to wholesalers. Retailers will buy in bulk from the wholesaler and then sell it in smaller quantities to their customers. So that is our wholesale market. Then we have the retail market, and that's now the retailers breaking up those bulk purchases and then sell it in their store, one or two at a time, to their normal customers. Farmers markets, I had a few of you explaining that in detail, craft markets and flea markets, and that's where a farmers market would typically be where your fresh produce would be sold. Here in Pretoria, we know about the Tshwane fresh produce market. Then we also have craft and flea markets, something that we at the moment dearly miss, and those are those markets that we have over weekends where people come and bring their different kinds of wares. They have crafts that they that they do at home, and then they sell those work of art, and all these people being highly creative, coming up with new products, new inventions. All those type of products are sold at craft and flea market, free market. And then we have also the service market, as we spoke, where not a specific product is sold, but rather a skill or experience or an expertise is sold. And there we can look at mechanics, people fixing your cars, hairdressers, whom we all desperately need at the moment, nail technicians. Even if you go for something like a hot balloon ride, that experience would be part of the services market. Good. And then something that we will also look into more depth in grade 9 is the factor market. So let's just go back. We have the goods and services market, and now we're looking at the factor market. Now, by now, you all know the factors of production very well, because we've spent the previous chapter or unit on that. And that is our land or natural resources, labor, capital, and then entrepreneurship. Now, in the factor market, these things or elements or factors of production are traded with between different people. And what we normally focus on, just to make it a little bit more understandable, is in the factor market where labor is sold, because people offer their labor into the economy and they get rewarded for that. And then also things like your natural resources, your land, where somebody might rent a piece of land from you, and then they have to pay you for the usage of that land. So that is our factor market, where the factors of production are traded. Right. If we look at the different types of factor markets, as I said, we're focusing basically on labor and natural resources, or then capital. I think we're focusing here a little bit more on capital. The labor market, this is where the employer and the employee meet. They come into contact with one another. The employer will have a job that's available, and somebody will apply for that job, and that person will become an employee if the employer employs that person. Now, obviously, the employee is not going to work for free, and as a result of that, the employer will pay that employee a salary or a wage. Normally, salaries are paid monthly, and wages are either paid per hour or per day or per week. Right. Then also what we discussed in the previous unit is that labor can also be physical or mental, and both of them are needed. There goes my one dog. Right. And then if we look at the financial market, this is any type of financial transaction that helps a business grow or helps an investor to make some money. We're going to look at two types of financial markets. The first one is a capital market, and this is where money in the forms of shares is obtained to start a large business. Usually we call this large business a company. Now in grade 10, you will learn a lot more if you take business studies on different forms of ownership, and there we spend a lot of time on companies, public and private companies. Towards the end of grade 8, we're also going to touch quickly on the different forms of ownership. Now, if you know, most of you probably know about the Johannesburg Securities Exchange. Previous years it was called the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Now, on the Securities Exchange, shares are being traded in different public companies. So and that's how a company, a large business, raises money or get funds by selling shares to the public. So the public buys, the public meaning you and I, we can buy shares in a company, and the company uses that money from the shares that they got in order to expand the company, buy more equipment, and so on, grow the company. So that is what we call the capital market, where shares are being sold in order for a business to grow or even to start up. Nee. And then we look at the money market. Now, the money market, once again, is a place, it can be virtual as well, where a business can obtain cash or credit. So, say, for example, you do not have a public company. What are you going to do in order to get some money? You can apply for a loan at the bank, some extra credit, or a bank overdraft on your bank account. And there you will have access to cash in order to run your business, buy your employees, or buy stock, as an example. Right, so this brings us then just to the end of the markets chapter, a short summary, and I hope that this clarified maybe a few matters for you. So if we just quickly recap, we looked at the goods and services market, and we said it can be either physical or a virtual place where products or services are traded. We looked at the different types of goods and services market. Then we looked at this next section, the factor market. We looked at the 4 factors of production, and we said that the factor market is where these factors of production are traded, obviously for some kind of remuneration. And then we looked at 2 types of factor markets today. We focused on the labor market, and we said labor can be physical or mental, and an effort, and that labor needs to be rewarded with either salaries or wages. Then we looked at the financial markets, and there we distinguished between 2 types of financial markets. The capital market, where shares are sold, where companies can raise funds, and the money market, where we have access to cash, either through loans, a credit that they grant you, or a bank overdraft. Right, grade 8, I will load a short quiz and some exercises that you can practice a little bit, and then we are now at the end of the market section for grade 8 EMS. Hope you have a wonderful day.